I made my boss over $1.5 million in commission over 2 years, while I made $45K/year. For Christmas, he got me a $25 gift card to a movie theater chain that I would have to drive to another state to even use. When I put in my 2-week notice, he called legal on me while I sat in his office. I worked my off for this man, essentially running his entire book of business for him. For Christmas, he got me a $25 AMC gift card. The closest AMC theater is 1.5 HRS away in another state. That me off and made me start looking for other jobs. I genuinely cared about my job and the account, so I waited to accept a job offer until I had trained someone else to do my job. When the time came, I met him in his office and told him that I had accepted another job and that I was putting in my notice, but to not worry because I have someone already trained. When I told him that I had accepted a position with another company in our field, but would not be doing the same thing so it wouldn't violate my non-compete, he called our chief legal office on speakerphone while I sat there. The CLO tells me that I cannot even mop floors at a company in our field for at least a year. The CLO adds HR to the call, and HR tells me that since I won't be pursuing my new job, they are going to let me work 2 more weeks to make sure the handoff goes smoothly, and then I will be fired for looking for other jobs. They asked me for more details as to what I would be doing at my new job, and I told them I wasn't going to discuss it. After I left, the CLO of this company, a company who brings in $6 billion/year in revenue, called me randomly for the next few weeks trying to intimidate me. They even started contacting my new employer. Luckily, I don't work for a company now, and the CEO got involved and told them that they would be ready to fight this in court. They stopped contacting me after that, which meant they never even planned in taking me to court. They just wanted to scare me into quitting my new job companies like this. We don't have to put up with this anymore. Company is Total Quality Logistics. Edit. This was 3 years ago. I'm with the same company that I left my previous job for, and they have given me the budget to start a division of the company that directly competes with my previous employer. I still have that AMC gift card too. I'll go ahead and address some of the questions I keep getting asked. Why did you stay if you were so underpaid for your performance? Because I was fresh out of college and dumb. Why did you tell them where you were going? Because I was fresh out of college and dumb. Why did you even give them a 2-week notice? Why did you walk out? Because the people who I actually cared about at that job would be the ones who felt the effects of that more than my manager. Talk about a toxic relationship when their go-to-move is, you are not breaking up with us, we are breaking up with you, and we'll go after everything you've got. I'm just sad the story doesn't actually involve them losing major accounts. I had a similar experience. I'd signed a non-compete as a 1099 contractor, then got hired in full-time. A while later I should fit and hit a job with a client of theirs. They tried to pull out the non-compete. Pointed out that in California a non-compete agreement is not enforceable against a non-equity partner, and that my relationship with the soon-to-be former employer was that of an employee. Like the OP, my new employer's legal team got involved and told them to go pound sand. Non-competes are pretty toothless for 1099s, because as you said, they are independent contractors and not employees. I spent several years as a 1099. Working for subcontracting companies that all took work from the same local telecom. Contractor hopping was something that they were all very worried about because the grass is always greener and all that. Their non-competes were worthless and unenforceable. But the companies all banded together and got the telecom company to agree to put a 6-month hold on issuing new badges for any employees that changed contractors. It accomplished nothing. People still contractor hopped. They just ran ghost badges from previous employees to get their work orders. The really funny thing was that the contracting companies were so gung-ho to stop people who left them from getting a new badge elsewhere, but would happily use old badges to get work for their newly poached 1099s. It was like watching someone enter their own mouth. Wow, here in the UK that's illegal in so many ways and so many levels. If you can try, sue them. It's plenty illegal here in the States. When I told him that I had accepted a position with another company in our field, but would not be doing the same thing so it wouldn't violate my non-compete, he called our chief legal office on speakerphone while I sat there. The CLO tells me that I cannot even mop floors at a company in our field for at least a year. That's flatly untrue. And if the non-compete were actually that extensive, the consideration given to the employee would have to be massive, and most courts have ruled that normal pay is not sufficient consideration for non-competes. Add to it that the pay was only $45K per year. There's no way that would be large enough to be considered consideration for that non-compete. The fact it was a competitor, but not in the same position or similar position, makes it even harder to enforce. For example, if you're a salesperson at company and jump to their competitor to be in accounting, that wouldn't violate a non-compete. Sure, company could sue, but they'd likely not win. After I left, the CLO of this company, who brings in $6 billion/year in revenue, called me randomly for the next few weeks trying to intimidate me. They even started contacting my new employer. This is intimidation flat out, and calling the new employer could be a tort as well. They have no right, outside of trying to enforce that non-compete, to interfere with your business relationship with another company. This is why you never assume that you and coworkers, management, or anyone at work is your friend. Always treat working relationships as such and never put too much loyalty or trust in any company that you work for. Nonprofits can be just as toxic. I just left a position at a foster agency because the CEO of the agency promised a COLA increase at the end of 2019. By the end of 2020, no COLA was given, and the CEO claimed it was due to COVID. That could be understandable, but a few things happened. During COVID, our new client, Foster Youth, increased by about 30%, meaning the agency was taking in more money. The CEO wife was promoted from HR director to executive administrative assistant, and his daughter was promoted to department head of quality assurance. Both revived a substantial salary increase. In addition to no COLA, rate increases were paused for all supervisors, me, and clinical/social work staff, the ground troop staff I left in July. When I put my 2 weeks in, I put my cards on the table in a meet with the CEO and explained the increase in caseload with a lack of increase in pay. He offered me a $2 hourly increase and told me I wouldn't find a job with the same rate and position. I moved to a supervisory role at that point, that I should think about it, and that he was confident I would make the right decision. At the end of my 2 weeks, the office threw me a going-away party. The CEO came out and pulled me aside and was visibly confused. He said he thought I decided to stay because he offered me the $2 increase. I reminded him that I never agreed to stay on, and he just kind of stood there with surprised Pikachu face. P.S. I absolutely love quitting jobs. It's so insane to me to hear stories about how people in the U.S. get fired for absolutely insane things. I'm from Canada, and literally 90% or more of the firings I read about in this sub would be totally illegal and not even spoken about or attempted by most companies in Canada. Obviously, some are and try, but then the person would go to the labor board to support workers in these situations. They'd be reinstated or paid a big payout of some sort. It's just a different world up here. Like you cannot get fired for looking for a job. You cannot get fired for working at a similar company in the industry. Just totally illegal. So weird and to hear that in the US it's normal practice. Good on you. Something about non-competes people should know, that sometimes they aren't enforceable. Not always, but generally the stricter and more broad they are, the less likely they can be enforced fully, as very often it is used as a scare tactic. That isn't to mention that anything you are asked to sign on the job you could contest in court that it was signed under duress.